I decided to do a joint February/March wrap up because my February wrap up was basically just gonna be a giveaway, and like only a few people entered the giveaway anyways for my February or my January book, which was Brickmakers. I'm gonna assume it's because I didn't talk about it, because I couldn't talk about it because I filmed it after it was announced that it was in the BookTube prize and I was judging that round with that book. Anyways, so I'm just gonna do the giveaway portion really fast. Heidi from My Reading Life. If you already bought this book, because I'm doing this super late, let me know and I'll give it to the other person that entered. But anyways, yay, congratulations, Heidi. So really fast, I read 3 issues of Chew in the month of February. So again, I feel like maybe I mentioned this at some point in some video, but there was, that time when everyone on BookTube was like obsessed with Saga, and I got really into graphic novels or comics or whatever you want to call them. I feel like this is more in the comic genre than like the graphic novel genre. But anyways, I started reading Chew and I really liked it. And then I kind of put it down because they cost money, and whatever. So I'm looking at the cost. I guess they're only $13, so it's not like the end of the world, but that's one of the factors. And like I have so many books, so it's just kind of hard to spend money on something that you're going to read really quickly. And I know you're like, Stephanie, use the library. I like to own things. I like the series. I want to have it on my shelves, so back off. I read volumes 7, 8, and 9, and wild. Things are getting so intense. And I'm gonna finish this by the end of the year for sure. Indie Bookstore Day is coming up, so I'm probably gonna end up buying the other 3. There's 3 more, 10, 11, and 12 on Indie Bookstore Day, just because a lot of times there's not books that I'm interested in bookstores because I have a particular taste. So I'm not trying to buy like whatever. But thankfully for Indie Bookstore Day, usually the bookstores they're nice and have good books. But sometimes when you're not sure what to get, it is nice to, although maybe they won't even sell these because they're comics. Who knows? Anyways, I'm rambling and I have a lot of things to talk about, so I'm gonna shut up. This is like a world where there's all of these people that have special like food powers. Our main character is Tony Chu. He's a Chiba, so if he eats something, then he like sees the whole backstory of the thing. And it's really intense. And there's one, I forget which one of these because I read them like within a couple of days, but one of them is like showcasing all these different people that have food related abilities. I wish I could find it right now, but that to me must have been like the most fun day of like writing, because it's just inventing weird, like one person eats something and like their head turns into the shape of the thing that they've eaten, and another person like specifically eats a piece of candy and then like gets the qualities of the candy and stuff. It was really fun, and I'm excited to continue on. So that is literally all that I read in February. So let's talk about March now. I have 3 DNFs, which I've talked about ad nauseum, I think. The first one is The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Diaz. I will link below. I'll like have it time-stamped, where I talk about this in my Dominican Republic Invisible Cities vlog. It's not for me. I also then DNF'd Traffic by John Ruskin, which is one of the Penguin Little Black classics. I do think that I probably align with John Ruskin's like political views, but it's super dry and boring, and like it was taking me too long to read something that small. And then I DNF'd Where Monsters Dwell by Jorgen Brecke, which was one of the picks that I had, one of the books that I picked for Invisible Cities for Norway. And this is translated by Stephen T. Murray, and it just was not good. The writing, so not for me, not interested. There's a picture of the guy on the back. That's funny. So anyways, then the rest of these books, I guess I don't have that much to talk about because I read 7 books in the month of March, and 5 of them were for BookTube prize. So I will link below where I talk about the books, which is all in the same video, but I'll again have it time-stamped. So if you're interested in a specific book, you can see about that. The first one that I've got is, and I'm doing these from my least favorite to my most favorite, which I do, just in case you're wondering. So my least favorite, shocker, was The Slaughterman's Daughter by Yaniv Ishkovitz. And this is translated by Or Sharf. 1.5 stars. I forget how many I gave it. I would have 100% DNF'd this if I wasn't forced to read it. I ranted about it for 20 minutes already, so I'm just going to put it down because I don't need to talk about it anymore. I'll link it below, so if you feel like giggling, you can watch it. Then I have Serving Crazy with Curry by Amulia Maladi, and this is the book that we read for my book club. I think I gave this 2.5 stars. I am actually really disappointed with this because I didn't think I was going to like it based on the cover, because it looks like a rom-com type thing. And then I really liked the beginning of it. I really liked it. I thought the author did a really good job of like giving you the feels from the person whose perspective we're reading. So we're following a young woman whose name is Devi, and Devi tries to kill herself, so triggers for suicide. That's like the very first thing that happens at the very beginning of the book. And so she tries to kill herself, and she's unsuccessful because her mom is like very meddling or whatever, and like has a key to her house and like goes in without asking permission. And so her mom saves her life basically, and then she's put in the hospital, and then she has to be released into the care of her parents because she's obviously a suicide risk. So at the very beginning, we're kind of mostly getting the perspectives of Devi, her sister, her mom, and then her grandma. And then her father is also there, and her brother-in-law is also involved. But we don't like get, from their perspective, the story at all. And yeah, I was like really impressed with how good of a job, because when you have a larger cast of characters and everyone has a different perspective on how things are happening, I don't know, she just did a really good job. Like every time, like when I'm from the sister's perspective, I was like totally on the sister's side, like, she's daddy's little girl, blah, blah, blah. When I was from her perspective, I felt for every single one of these, sorry, I got a message. I film on my phone. Anyways, so I thought that was really well done. But then as the story went on and on and on, I was like, I guess I don't love this book very much. And it just was really disappointing. The writing is like very basic. There's nothing special about it. There's letters that her dad is like writing to her, and then I think to her sister and to her mom or something. And so those are interspersed, and I just think it's completely unnecessary. I could have please have that edited out. And then there's this like really weird part where her sister and her sister's husband are like not doing well, like maritally. And so her sister's like talking about how like, she wants an orgasm and all this stuff. And it's just like, where is this coming from? Like, what does this have to do with the book? It just, I'm not like, I can't read about sex in books, but it just felt like really kind of like too, vulgar is not the right word, but like really crass, kind of like the way that she was speaking about it, and like talking about like this coworker that she has, and like how she kind of like has feelings for him, but she's married and blah, blah, blah. And she thinks her husband's cheating on her. And I don't know, it just ended up being like too much. And there's 2 plot points that I think are super obvious and but like given to you as a big reveal. And it's just like, if you want it to be a big reveal, make it like a little bit less obvious. And then there's this like thing that the problem is that like the reason that I don't like this book is mostly the plot, and I don't want to spoil it just in case you want to read it. But there's like this, Devi has done a horrible thing to her sister, and then like her sister just forgives her. Like just, oh, it's fine. I was just like, what? I would know. Unacceptable behavior. If you're curious, let me know in the messages and I will tell you, because it was ridiculous. I feel like almost everyone in the book club was kind of on my side, which I appreciated, because I feel like lately when I've been going to book club, like I've been trashing books that everyone else has loved, or I love books that everyone else hates. Not always, but I do sometimes feel like odd man out. So I was happy that most people were also not really feeling it. Again, it's fine. I just really can't recommend it. It's whatever. Then I've got a couple more BookTube prize books. Catch the Rabbit by Lana Bastasish, and this is translated by by the author. I was like, by Serbo-Croatian. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Again, I will link below where I talk about it. Same with Nervous System by Lena Meruane, translated by Megan McDowell. And then A Winter in Soksho by Eliza Shua Dusapin, translated. It's really funny, like, doing a wrap-up of books that I've talked about, especially like since I talked about all of them in one video. Anissa Abbas Higgins, so I will, again, I'll have them time-stamped. And then I was going to do an individual review for How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents by Julia Alvarez, but too much time has passed and I feel like it won't be meaty enough, so I'm just going to talk about it right now. But yeah, I loved this book. I thought it was so good. I gave it 4 stars. We are following the Garcia sisters. There's 4 girls, and the story is told like kind of in vignettes from each person, not from each person's perspective, but each chapter focuses on different people. So like maybe it's, you know, Yolanda, or it's like, you know, all the girls, or like it's the mom and the dad and the girl and stuff. So like each chapter kind of focuses on just a different story in their lives, and it has different people involved in the story, and it goes chronologically backwards in time. So it's starting with Yolanda deciding that she wants to move back to the Dominican Republic. And so she's, and that to me was like the most relatable chapter, because like everyone's kind of trash talking her. I mean, I did not grow up at any point in the Dominican Republic, but there is this thing that happens. And I know that like other like communities that are like children of immigrants deal with it, where like your family kind of trash talks you for not being able to speak the language very well. And it's really, really funny to me. And I know I say that because it's in the farewell, Aquafina's character, she, like, everyone makes fun of her for like not speaking Chinese well and stuff. And anyways, I just think it's funny that like that is such a common thread amongst, you know, people. And it makes me giggle. But yeah, so I like related that to that too hard. And my mom always tried to get me to speak Spanish, and I always just wanted to turn English because I was lazy, because it's just easier. Like clearly I can respond to her in Spanish. I'm just choosing to speak in English because it requires less effort, which is not good. And I try to speak Spanish to her when she's here, but she probably will say that I don't try that hard. Anyway, so yeah, so it starts off with Yolanda, and then it goes back in time, and the book's set up into different sections, like different time periods, I guess. So like when they're adults, then kind of like when they're kids growing up, and then like back in the Dominican Republic. And ooh, it's so good. There's nothing like really specific that I can like point out, because it is not like a through story that we're hearing. It's different like snippets and clips of their lives. But I will say the section like when they're in the Dominican Republic, and it's, I'm gonna start crying. Wow, I have like serious problems. When it's the section about them like basically having to flee the Dominican Republic because the father is involved in like a coup against Trujillo, and so they're leaving when Trujillo, like right when he's like about to lose power. So basically like there's, you know, people trying to take him down, and so her father is involved in that, and so then they have to leave the Dominican Republic, and then shortly after that he's assassinated. I forget like what year exactly they flee, but I think it's just like right before that. But anyways, that whole section was so intense and so good, and you're just like, again, it has to do with like the things that make me emotional and that like really get to me are like when there's like these really hard things that are happening, and like being a parent and having like 4 children, and like the distress of like trying to save and protect your family, but like also trying to do the right thing. And then also like the confusion from the little girls because they don't know like kind of what's going on. And so there's like one section where like one of them says something about something, and like someone's kind of getting in trouble because of it. And, you know, it's just, it's like so intense to me anyways. Everything is apparently intense to me. So yeah, so I thought that was just like really, really well done. And then I also think the relationships between the girls is like really great. And you can see, you know, them interacting with each other, and all of them have had like mental health struggles. This is earlier in the book, so later in their lives, they've all had like some kind of mental health struggle. And so kind of like talking about that and their relationship with their parents and their relationship with each other. I wouldn't say this is like, I feel like a lot of times when there's like story of like immigration or people that are coming to the United States, there's a lot of like how people are othered. I do think there is a little bit of this, but to me, it's more a story of a family as opposed to like a story of them interacting with the outside world. But maybe I just don't remember those parts. It's like maybe those weren't the parts that resonated with me as well, or that I didn't like take in as much. So yeah, I thought this was absolutely amazing. If you have not read it, please read it. It's so good. I wanted to say something else about it, but I forget. I really, really liked it. And I definitely want to read all of her books. There's a Goodreads group that's reading In the Time of the Butterflies this month. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get to that, but obviously I have to prioritize other things. But anyways, yes, please read. Yes, thank you. And then my favorite book of the month, which was not that one, which is surprising because I love that one so much, is actually The Art of Losing by Alice Zeniter. I was like, before I made this video, I was like, oh, which one's my favorite? Which one do I put? And I was like, maybe I should just like do both. But I technically gave this one 4.5 stars and I gave this one 4 stars. And I do think this one is like more interestingly written for some reason. And again, I think I talked about it a lot in my video, but it is like the breaking of the fourth wall, kind of like that, like little like, oof, that just kind of like pushed it a little bit over the edge for me. So it has nothing to do with content. And I do actually think that both of these touch on like similar things. They're very, very similar, like in story, because they're both people from, you know, different countries having to flee their country and like emigrate to another place and like make a life for their families in this new country that they're going to. Just this is Algeria and France, and this is, you know, the Dominican Republic and the US. So I do think they're really similar and both fantastic books, but something about like the, you know, it just has so I am gonna give away a copy of this book. Obviously if it's in paperback, that's the copy that you're getting, because you know, but this is translated by Frank Wynn. I will link the section of my Book to Prize video when I talk about this, and then you can tell me in the comments. You have to say, please enter me, or I would like to be entered, or else I'm not going to enter you if you just like, you know what I'm saying? So I need you to be specific with me. So that is all of the books. Wow, I love a good cry on a Saturday morning. It's great. I will talk to you guys hopefully soon-ish, because it is mid-month book bash, so I am theoretically reading this weekend.